Hi, Jessica Rose.
Good morning, Erika.
What do we have going on?
So you have actually a few big events this week.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, you do. So Monday is kind of light as of now. I'm sure it's going to get filled up.
Disaster by the time it gets there.
I'm sure by the time that we get there, it's going to be insane.
Chock-a-block full.
But Tuesday, you have the Nobody Cares event.
Okay, so who's coming?
So we have Carrie Lindsay and Charlotte Palomino coming in for Women's History Month. Very exciting. We also have a vendor.
Wait, March is Women's History Month?
Yes.
Is that what month we're in? March is Women's History Month. Okay. So they are beauty influencers?
Yes. One owns her own beauty studio.
Okay.
She focuses on brows and skincare.
Oh, shit.
So
she's going to have a lot to say.
I have a feeling you should ask her about your brows. Like, do you think the tattoos look good? I think you should ask her that question.
She's going to say no. Okay.
Maybe she can help you.
I need a lot of help.
Who knows?
And then the other lady is?
Charlotte Palomino is a beauty influencer. I believe she also owns her own brand. I can't think of it off the top of my head, but she also owns her own brand.
Okay.
And then we have a vendor coming in called Mainland Vintage, which is actually,
exciting.
My former roommate and friend Rose actually works for them. That's how I was
So she's going to sell clothes?
She's selling soap. She sells like custom soap. You're gonna love these.
Really?
These soaps are cool. Like she does like the designs inside the soap.
Ooh.
So it'll look like a sunset or something.
That's like a sailboat.
Not kinda, but they're not gelatin. I think they're like more. They're more solid and they smell amazing.
And then when you finish it, do you get like a prize or does it just melt it? Okay.
It's not a Kinder Egg.
Okay.
But
I do love a Kinder Egg.
The following day.
Oh shit! This day is going to be a disaster. I have to change everything on this day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bunch
of one-on-ones.
Hair appointments and other stuff, but yeah, we're gonna have to shift that stuff around. And then Thursday, you have the weekly audit meetings, the product meeting, a one-on-one, and then another weekly meeting at the end of the day. And then Friday.
Oh, it's the Pillar Summit.
Yeah.
Okay,
do you want to talk about that?
Yes. So I'm doing a summit called the Pillar Summit, which is for how do you say mompreneurs? Mompreneurs. Moms who are entrepreneurial. Say it fast.
Mompreneur.
Mompreneurs.
Mompreneurs.
Mom.
Do you think that's a hard thing to say?
I don't think there's an R, too. I looked at it and it said...
A little bit.
It was
You do think it's hard to say.
A little tongue twister.
Mompreneur. So Sarthik and I are going to that. We are doing a keynote. It's in Connecticut. We're excited. I'm excited to talk to a bunch of moms. I have this idea that I want to launch a mom program here at Food 52. So maybe or maybe not, I'll announce that, which is a good reminder. I have to get going on that.
You have
a lot of work to do.
Ready?
No, I still have to do it. I'm going to have a little bit of it.
You're most of the way through it. I looked through it.
I know, but I have a lot more to do, and then I want to announce this thing, but then I have to figure out the trademark, and then I was figuring out the word, whatever. Anyways, long story short. So that's what I'm doing next week. Okay, well, that sounds exciting.
Yeah, it's a busy week.
All right, well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, it is March 24th. I think we're in the Ides of March. Do you know what the Ides of March are, Sarthik?
Nope. What's that?
You've never heard of the Ides of March?
No.
Like Caesar and...
probably, yeah. I just forgot.
Bruto. It was,
I know, yeah, tu Bruto.
Right? Like the betrayal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about this? It was so interesting.
Yeah, I remember.
I think we're in the Ides of March. Mm-hmm. March 24th, which is today, is my dad died a year ago, which is like a weird day because you don't know what to do with the day. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's like I've been thinking about what to do with the day. I don't know what to do with the day. So we have a different episode today. One is we are doing exit interviews. So we had two fabulous women who worked here. One is named Julia and the other is named Kiernan. They are a dynamic duo. I think they've been here maybe about 3 years. They've seen this place in multiple iterations, and they both come at things really differently, but have unique perspectives. So we do their exit interview. On my tips and tricks, just thinking about my dad, I write a lot about my dad in my book, and, you know, my dad was awesome, is awesome. A woman named Sarah gave me some great advice when my dad passed away, which was that your don't lose your dad. It's just that your relationship with him changes and you find him in different places and in different settings and in different thoughts. And I think that is really, really true. I think people live on inside of one another. I think people live in each other's hearts and live in each other's heads. I think that's true of the people you love. And I also think it's true of the people you work with. Like, you just think about how much headspace your coworkers take up, for example. So I really do believe that people live on inside of you. And I'm so grateful to have had my dad and that he lives on inside of me. But I was I was on Instagram, not reading, scrolling, and there was some post of like, I was raised by a billionaire. And it was talked about how this guy's dad wasn't rich, but he taught him so many things. And I feel the same way. And I think that's a great thing, to be loved by someone who can teach you and give you so much. And so I think what I'm going to do Monday is go for a hike. My dad was very kind and he loved to be outside. So I think I will be kind, do something for somebody else, and go for a hike. So that's, and like love up a dog. So that's my plan for Monday. In terms of advice and things my dad taught me that would be relevant here, one is the best control is no control. When I was in high school, I would try to like over engineer everything and figure everything out and, plan for every nth scenario. And I always just had too much control. And he always was like, lighten up, like loosen up, lighten up. And what he really showed me was that you can achieve greater results, not by trying to control other people, but trying to encourage other people and inspire other people and create a vision and a mission for other people that they want to be a part of. I think it's a really wonderful thing to create something that other people want to be a part of. And I get up and go to work and try to do that every day. And I'm very grateful for that lesson. I also think kindness is really important. I struggle with kindness sometimes because I'm like, so aggro that I want to get something done, but my heart hurts with it. We're obviously going through a lot of change at Food 52, and that weighs heavy on me. I've been sick now for like 3 weeks. I'm like, I have to stop wearing this. But always being kind and trying your best to be considerate, I think is really, really important. It goes so far and it goes such a long way. And that's it. So that's my introspection for today.
Now work.
We want to do headlines?
Yeah, let's do
Okay.
some headlines. So there's this video that was going around of Anthony Mackie, who's an actor.
Oh, yes. I was excited about this one, Sarthik.
Yeah, so let's play that.
I've been in the business 24 years, right? And I've seen people go from nothing to the biggest stars in the world. I've seen people go from one role to winning Academy Awards and doing all this shit. And what I realized yesterday thinking about it, we're lying to our kids, dog. And I think that's a big problem in our community. We tell our kids that and this is fresh on my heart, like I literally just came to this conclusion last night. We tell our kids if they do right and they make the good grades and they go to the programs and they will become successful. If you work hard enough, your work will be paid off. And that's not true. Success is given. It's not earned. Because you can be the most brilliant. If one person don't tap you, each one of y'all. There were people who could hit harder, who could catch better, who could run faster. But somebody said, you're the one. And the other 50 behind you fell off. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And because of that, I don't know what that emotion or that feeling is the scary thing. Because I went to all the programs. I've done Broadway. I've done off-Broadway. I've been in the business 24 years. I've been in 2 Academy Award films. I've done independent films. I've done major motion pictures. Now I'm Captain America. So now what?
Hold up. Limitless. Biggest to me, cap pinning it.
One, I love that. I think it's one. I don't think it's for me to say, like, for a member of the Black community, like, how much opportunity you have. Like, that is not something I can speak to. I love how passionate he is, though, about saying that. And I do think it's true in that there is an element of just getting tapped. Like it's the element of luck. I think that the element of luck is really important in life. I also feel like you can make your luck and, yes, you may not be the fastest kid or the smartest kid or the best looking kid or the most talented kid or the politest kid or the most connected kid. But my gut is the kids that work the hardest have the best chances of getting tapped.
Do you think working harder, or if you're the hardest working kid, you are in a way maximizing your opportunity of luck?
Yeah, I think it's like a lottery. I think you're just playing the lottery more times. I think now there are people who have advantages, right? Like rich white kids versus an inner city black kid. There's so many more people to touch them. There's many more occasions to touch them. That sounds terrible, but like you get what I'm saying. But I do think that passion really matters. I think work ethic really matters. I think charm matters. And I think raw talent matters. And it is unfortunate that more kids from the community aren't tapped. Actually, what I love about the internet, like if you look at Wallow and Gilly and you look at $1 million worth of game, I got to check in on them. They became success because nobody would tap those two. So they were like, fuck it, we're going to tap ourselves, which I actually really love about the internet. I think that's what makes the internet an incredible place, which is it's not a hierarchy. And it is in that there are bigger conglomerates. Barstool would be one, but you can make your own virality if you put yourself out there and in a way that's unique and refreshing or compelling or funny. And that takes work ethic. So I think it's a really important take. I'm glad he's talking about that. And I think I actually love most of the passion that he has about what he thinks.
Next is how typing loudly wearing AirPods, task masking is how Gen Z pretends to work at the office. So,
okay. So Gen Z puts their I saw you doing this today. You put your headphones in and you bang on your computer and then you're really not doing anything. You're just listening to your music and banging on your computer.
That's the term they're calling task masking.
Task masking is used to describe Gen Z's strategies for appearing busy at work to satisfy employer expectations. Many workers have adapted to visually displayed busyness, including behaviors like typing loudly or carrying laptops around the office. How annoying. Imagine I actually say this to my kids all the time, which is if you're going to put as much effort into not doing the thing, but looking like you're doing the thing, you might as well fucking do the thing. So I think this is ridiculous. Like if you don't want to work and you want to slough off at work, then at least give your ears a break and like your arms a rest and you don't have to carry around all your crap. Like I think that's just such a waste of time. Like it's such a choice of, look, you're going to be there for 8 hours or 6 hours or 10 hours or 4 hours regardless. You might as well get something done while you're sitting there versus pretending to get something done. Like you have to spend the time anyways, so you'll be less bored if you're busy. Like I always worked so hard, not because I was like a nerd and I was a kiss ass and I like wanted to work. I hate being bored. And the easiest way to make the time go by is to actually do work. Oh, all right.
Oh, wait, you want to take the mic?
Sorry. Okay, I have a question for you, Erika.
What,
so
Jessica
at
Rose?
my last job, for instance, I was there for about 9 hours a day.
Okay.
Just consistently. I was the office manager, so I was there pretty much every single day. Even though I was supporting 2 executives and the office manager, it ended up where I like quite literally didn't have a lot to do by like 3 p.m. a lot of days.
Okay.
And then even trying to create work for myself wasn't really working. So I'm curious what you would say for someone in a position like that. Like, what is the best? Because I would literally ask the execs, I'm like, do you have anything for me to do? Like, what would be the best solution for someone in that scenario?
I think that you got to leave every place you work at better than you found it. And I think people can take initiative in time what a luxury to have time that nobody cares what you're doing. Like, if I were in your shoes, Jessica Rose, and it were now, I doubt this is the case now. Better fucking not be the case now. But I'm just teasing. But I would learn AI. I would just learn AI. That's like what I would do with my time. So I think a lot of times, like, it's funny. Like, I watched you and Lauren today. Like, we just had an all hands. The tech never fucking works here. It's just like, it's ridiculous. And nobody knows how to fix it. Nobody knows how to fix it. And everybody just sits there and stares and waits for like the one guy from the tech team to figure it out. Like, if I had free time at Food 52 and I was in your job or Lauren's job, I'd be like, I want to work. I want to know how to work everything in the IT. Or everything in AV. So I think there's just always stuff to learn. I think the problem a lot of times is it's not sexy, and it's not like, oh, good job, Jessica Rose. Like, you figured out how to make the AV work in town hall. Like, nobody's going to say thank you for that. But I do think there's the satisfaction of doing it. So look, instead of pretending to be busy and listening, like wearing your vest and listening to your earpods, I would just study AI.
Now work.
So, Julia, we're inventing a new segment for you called Exit Interview.
Okay, I like that.
Julia is resigning from Food 52, and give a little bit of like how long you've been here. What are all the jobs you've had? How's it been?
Totally. Oh my God, how much time do we have? I've been here almost 4 years, which in Food 52 lore is like...
That's like 5 generations,
yes,
right?
Exactly. So in that time, I've seen like 2 complete staff turnovers, 3 CEOs. Mm-hmm. So it's been a lot of interesting growth. I think like it's kind of glass half full or empty. I look at it as half full. I think through that transition, I've seen a lot of people become bitter or like, resentful and want to leave. But truly, and I'm not even just saying this, like it has given me so many career and life lessons and growth opportunities that it's truly ended up being like an incredible last 4 years of my life. I started here as a social media associate, like bottom of the totem pole, like had no authority at all. And then eventually my manager got laid off, which was, really sad. But then I kind of took over his job. So then I was social manager. And then through a series of interesting events, our video team was dissolved. So then I was head of video and social.
You're like, I run this joint.
I know. And then it's interesting. It's like, it's taught me a lot about resilience and also just like attitude in the workplace. Like either you can, like I was saying, go one direction and become bitter and resentful, or you can really look at it as an opportunity to like grab it and run with it and like stop asking for permission and just like start doing, which I know is something that you're big on, which I really appreciate. And I've tried to teach my team now is like, don't obviously like take direction, but don't necessarily always ask for permission. Like come up with what you think is the best, most successful idea and just start executing.
How do you, because I agree with you. I think it's a choice because like shit happens at work.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure your friends are like, you work in that crazy company and you're like, oh my God, guess what they did today? But it is a choice how you show up, like every day, how you show up. I think you do such a great job of this. Like I really, you are sunshine at work.
I appreciate that.
Not in a way of like, oh, everything's great when it's not. Sometimes I think when people say people are sunshiny at work, but in a way of like, okay, we can do it. Let's figure out how we do it. Totally. What are the lessons you take away from the 4 years? Like when you look back on this, you're like, I really learned how to do this, or I really also in what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is like, I didn't know anything about like hiring a video producer before or a sound person or an editor. And it's not like anyone taught me that. It's like, you almost just have to start doing things. Or I think a lot of the thing that people wait for is a process. And like, that is good to have and will help down the road. But sometimes you just have to like start literally executing, bringing people in the door, picking up your phone and filming. Obviously this applies to my world, but like this can apply to any world. And like, maybe it's not done in the correct way or even the most efficient, but like once you break that barrier, then that'll come later down the road and you're not as paralyzed by like what is in front of you and you can't even start to execute. So I think like that's been the biggest thing for me is truly when you have almost, I mean, when I, you know, at the end of, before you came on, in between you and the last CEO, I feel like there was like 10 people who worked here. And we were
it was like a ghost town. It was like tumbleweeds.
Exactly. And it was, that truly was like having no resources and not a lot of money was a lesson in just like doing, you know, executing, and also just like nothing is not your job. Like learning how to like do anything that you need to get the, you know, job done, whatever that is. Like for me, I'm not an editor, but I like got CapCut and learned how to like edit videos, and they probably look terrible, but like whatever. I think once you start to like involve yourself and insert yourself into these different areas, it also makes it easier to hire and like bring on resources in those worlds.
Yeah, because you also know what they're doing.
Exactly.
What do you think what do you think causes people to either take your approach, which is, hey, we're just like, I'm going to be positive, we're going to figure it out, and it may not be perfect, and it's definitely going to be bad to start, but it's going to get better. What differentiates people to make that choice versus the other choice, do you think?
That's an interesting question. I think that is honestly partly just human nature.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's the environment you were raised in. But also I think it's like, I was kind of in a transitionary time in my life and my age. Like, you know, I was in my late 20s, so I had some experience under my belt, but I wasn't like so set in my ways that I think I was open to change. And I think because I experienced that, I've learned like there really is there's no point or age in your career where you should feel like you're like in some set path. Like you should always be open to like transition and like going down a different road that you didn't expect or whatever. And I feel like you've, again, like in your career and your different companies that you've worked at, it rings true too. Like, you know, Barstool's
So different from
so
here.
different.
Yeah.
Like, but it's both media and you like can apply your experiences.
Sorry.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like not being having like a very specific picture of what your career looks like in 1 or 2 years, like truly just being open to taking
I like
different paths.
that. I also think you've done a really good job. You think you're one of the only people here who've been here that long.
I know, I think so.
And I think you've done a really great job, which is, I think it's super easy, and it's also very understandable to be bitter at your company for what it is or isn't. And I feel like you always did a really nice job of like, not in a like bitchy way, but in like that's kind of fucked up, but let's just start doing something, and there's a joy in the doing something. And I think that you have never struck me as someone who was rigid, and you've always struck me as someone who's like jump in, can do, will be part of the team to get something done.
I appreciate that. I mean, I also think that like that definitely comes from leadership too, like feeling like you have, you know, it's like you can't motivate people by scaring them. I think it's like motivating people by getting them excited, which is like something that you've done over the past year. Like all these new, even when we had like initiative changes or like you were learning the business and part of the business was changing, it's like, I feel like I always felt hopeful and like excited about the next stage, which even is how I feel now, even leaving, like that's why I'm so excited for my team here still. It's like, I know they're smart and talented and they'll be able to create some great stuff. And I don't know. I think it's just a matter of like, also I think because I've worked in media so long, and I'm sure you feel the same way, it's like everywhere is like this. There's no like perfect.
It's not that unique.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. We all face the same struggles, and it's like as long as also you like the people you work with, then like whatever, you can make anything.
So how are you thinking about taking your next job? Like, what do you what do you want to achieve for yourself there that you haven't achieved here?
I think it's going to be more like in the tech e-commerce world. I think what I'm excited about is starting something pretty from scratch. Like they don't have as big of a content serialized episodic program going on there. So I'm excited to like truly start new shows from scratch that are going to live on social, and also, you know, a kind of a new influencer program. I think like in the content media space, what I am so grateful for is that I've like learned how to create at a very high volume and high quality. And I'm excited to go to somewhere that's not a media company and be like, look at all these great things I know how to do. Like,
you're like, I'm a star.
Who knows? Maybe they'll be like, no, but we'll see. I'm just excited to like be in a totally different industry.
And you're not going to take any time off.
I know.
Which I think is so stupid, which is always a mistake I make. I'm so paranoid to not have a job. I'm like, I got to start on the same day.
It's true.
But it's dumb.
It is dumb. I know. Everyone who I've told, they're like, why? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't even taken time off in like a year and a half here. I'm just like, I don't know why. I think I'm just... One, I'm not a huge traveler, so I'm like, whatever. I do have a ton of weddings, though, this year. So I'm like,
so
I will be traveling.
Long weekends.
A lot of long weekends this summer.
And do you know what you're going to wear for the first day at work?
I don't. I'm so nervous about that.
Because it's going to matter there.
I know.
What
It's
are you
going to really
do
matter.
about that?
I don't know. I'm also like... I'm so used to just having like uniforms that I wear on repeat every week that I'm
Julia wears like Dickies, and I wish you could
I'm
see it.
literally
She
wearing
has like
Dickies.
Michael Jackson socks on. I mean, I just have to take a picture of it.
It's so bad.
Is this a style, or do you just decide to do this every morning?
Okay, these socks are a little crazy. These are like really long socks.
I mean, they're sweat socks.
I know. These, okay, but I have dirty laundry right now, okay? Normally I wouldn't wear these, but I don't know. I just like... Well, I'm
Like,
gonna have
where
to
do you
start
get
to
your,
care more.
your pants?
These are literally Dickies, I think. Or like
They are Dickies.
Dickies, yeah.
Like,
These
do you
I got
thrift?
from... I do thrift. I thrift a lot. Yeah.
Okay, you do.
This is Gap. It's not
I
so
love that.
bad.
It's cute.
Thank you. These are Dickies, but they're from Urban. They're
Okay,
Urban
okay.
Renewal. These are like 6 years old.
And do your friends dress like you, or do you dress different than your friends?
I feel like
I'm getting you ready for your next job.
Yeah, I feel like we dress similarly, honestly.
Okay, that's fun.
I even feel like I've influenced the way some people dress here.
Oh, you do? Like
yeah,
who?
like Kiernan's wearing Dickies now, like Carhartt pants. You guys notice? I'm like,
Let's tell the Kiernan story. We'll leave Julia with
Yeah.
one fashion story. So we have this woman here who there is like a Bert Ernie combination, which is Julia and her bud Kiernan. And Kiernan's also awesome, and we should get Kiernan. We'll have Kiernan in here before she goes. Maybe we'll put them together. We'll do them both.
yeah.
So Kiernan and Julia were always like, one's tall, one's shorter, one has long hair, one has short hair. They look like sisters. We did a photo shoot. We did a dog photo shoot here, and it was like they were a couple. It was amazing. But so one day, Kiernan is wearing this navy blue. Have I told this story here?
No.
Okay.
This is funny.
Kiernan is wearing the best navy blue sweater ever. And when Kiernan resigned, I literally thought to myself, I'm like, I'll accept your resignation if you sell me your navy blue, which I still might ask her. I'm going to ask her that, actually. I'm going to ask her what her price is. So anyways, Kiernan has this awesome wool navy blue sweater, which for anybody who knows me, I live for a navy blue wool sweater.
Yeah.
Like, it's just to die for. And so Kiernan's like, she's fumbling around with it. I was like, who makes it? I'm like grabbing at her, who makes it? And she's like, oh, I don't know. I think it's like a really French brand. I got it vintage. And she opens up the label and it's LL Bean. No, it's Land's End.
And she's like, oh.
Well, it's Land's End. So anyways, we'll have Kiernan on too.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's do quick like rapid fire round.
Yeah.
Someone younger than you is in a cruddy workplace, a lot of change, a lot of exec turnover, a lot of fear. What's your advice to them?
I would say if there is positions above them opening up, I would say to stay.
Okay.
Because it worked for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would say to like, unless you have I really feel this way, unless you have another job, especially in this environment, don't quit your job. Even if it feels...
Stick it out.
Yeah. And like, okay, you might get laid off, then like, great, you'll go get another job. But like, just because you see change happening at the top or even at your level, don't let that scare you into leaving unless you really have another place to go.
Okay, great. So hope your boss gets laid off. Take your boss's job. That's the Julia formula.
Yeah, or
it
just,
worked
like,
for
see
you
what
though.
happens.
I'm making fun of it, but it's true. I think I also developed my career that way, which is people above me would get
Right.
fired or laid off, and I was like, I'll just start doing their work.
Totally. Well, also a lot of the people like, when my boss got fired, other people on my team ended up leaving eventually because they got new opportunities, which is great. But like, again, I wouldn't suggest doing that until you have that.
And also make sure it's something that you
Exactly.
want to do.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Second question is, how do you keep in touch with all the people who have gotten laid off around you or left before you who are like, oh my God, you're still there. That place sucks.
Yeah.
How do you manage that? Because I think there's this like schadenfreude and people like to complain about work.
There is. I think like one, give yourself time and space between if and when people leave or get laid off. Like, don't feel like you need to reach out immediately and like repair relationships. Like, I found over the past 4 years, there have been people who either left on their own or got laid off. And like, you may feel this pressure to like connect right away and console them. But like, say something nice, but you don't have to like hang out right away and start like being with your old coworkers all the time.
commiserating.
Yeah. Like don't, for your own mental health, they should understand that you can't commiserate if you're still at your company, and they do. And like, maybe in a year get a drink, like, or a couple months, but you don't have to rush it. I find.
Great, that's great advice. And then, what is your advice to finding your next great job?
God, there's so many different ways to do that. I mean, honestly, back to what we were just saying. Even though, don't feel the pressure to like, stay super close with your old coworkers, but keep those doors open. Because like, ultimately, the further you get in your career, it's all about relationships. Yeah. And like, again, like I think you can get jobs other ways, but the industry, whatever industry you're in, probably, I mean, definitely for media, like most of them are small.
Yeah, it's super small.
And like, don't burn bridges, obviously. And yeah, just like stay friendly with people. You don't have to be super close.
Yep, I think that's great. But keep the door open and stay somewhat current. And then what is your advice on resigning? How did your resignation go?
Oh my gosh, that was so...
I mean, that was difficult.
It was stressful. Gosh, I think one, like really, really, really think about it before you even tell someone. Like you have to be pretty sure, I feel like, emotionally too. And also, I think just being like, honest and open. Like, don't lie about why you're leaving or, what your true feelings are. Because also, like, if you're at that point, you should be willing to have an open conversation with whoever's employing you. I feel it makes it easier on you emotionally to just, like, be honest. And, I don't know.
I like that. That's great. And what could I be doing better here?
What could you be doing better here? I mean, I think for...
How much time do you have?
No, I think like, and this isn't even specific to you, I think which is difficult for people who are literally CEOs or COOs, is because you're so busy and have so many decisions to make. But I think like one thing is you can reveal blockers by like seeing more of like the day-to-day, which is what you do actually now, but like it takes a while because you have to get through every part of the business. But yeah, like I think the only way to like really reveal blockers is to be kind of in the weeds, even for a short period of time in the day-to-day of like how even like it depends how big the company is, like even on an individual level, like who's kind of like failing in certain realms, who's succeeding in certain realms. And again, I feel like that is what you're doing. So I don't.
All right. Well, that's all right. No, you're not well enough. And then what's the best piece of career advice you ever got?
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
Sorry.
I wish I had thought about this beforehand.
In fairness, I did just bomb this on
I
you.
know.
And your Michael Jackson socks.
Yeah, I know. I would say, I don't know if this is going to be true necessarily. We'll see. I'm kind of in this period of transition. But I do think if you're feeling like you should make a change in your career, it's worth exploring, even if you end up regretting it, because at the end of the day, like growth is growth, and like you learn from failures too. So again, I'm feeling like I might regret my decision, maybe.
But you're still an optimist. Like I think you and I have had this conversation, which is even if it's a disaster, right?
Exactly.
And you'll say, "Oh, I'm glad I did it because I learned this, or I did that." Or even if you stayed and this place was a disaster, you would still be like, "Well, I got the chance to do this."
Right. That's just it. Like you'll end up questioning, especially in your career, like every route. I feel like really there's no like right answer. It's just about like learning more and more.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now work.
All right, so this is Kiernan. Kiernan's also leaving, the great exodus of Food 52.
Yeah.
My first question to you is, are you wearing Dickies pants?
No, I'm not actually. These are Everlane, but they're like a Dickies, like they're trying to be Dickies.
It's like Dickies 2.0.
Dickies
And are you
2.0.
wearing Dickies?
Actually, like Dickies 0.5 because I think it's less cool.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Dickies Redux.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you wearing your Everlane Dickies ripoffs because Julia wears Dickies? Because that's what she was kind of suggesting.
Did she say that?
She did.
That's terrible. No. I might have at one point been slightly influenced by her, but I didn't think about it today specifically.
Oh, okay, great.
But maybe it's
do you think about
conscious-
Julia when you get dressed?
Sometimes.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah.
Julia's got a great style.
Well, because
she has
sometimes-
a crazy, sneaky, magnetic style.
Exactly, and I think it's rubbed off on me because I like tend to shop at like Marshalls.
Okay.
And which I love Marshalls, but I'll just wear like whatevs. But then I see Julia and I'm like, I gotta up my game.
Wait, you think Julia is somebody who puts a lot of effort into her outfits?
No, but that's why they're amazing.
She just looks good.
She just looks good.
Yeah, she's like one of those girls that always looks good.
I'm not.
Same.
So I have to think about it.
Yeah.
So that is why I think about Julia when I get dressed, because I'm like, I can't wear this because it's not going to look as cool. So I have to make it my own style.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kiernan's here. Kiernan's leaving. Kiernan's moving to Ireland. She's going to go live somewhere outside of Cork, Ireland on a farm, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
Kiernan and Julia's resignations came within like 48 hours of each other. I had the flu in San Francisco and was in the middle of a board meeting and was just like, fuck. But when I heard about where you were going and what you were going to do, I was so conflicted because in my heart I was like, I gotta keep her. I gotta find a way to make her stay. Yeah. And then I was like, I can't do it. Like, this is such a great life change for you. Like, I'm so happy for you. I think it's going to change the whole trajectory of your life.
Yeah. I mean, I had the exact same emotions. Like, I wanted to figure out why I should stay because I love working here and I love everyone here. But it just was one of those things where I was like,
you got to do it.
Felt like cosmic.
Yeah, it was. She was like, I'm an Irish citizen. I can go work in Ireland. I was like, well, why wouldn't you?
Exactly. So, and I've always wanted to like milk a cow and like.
Oh, do you know how?
No. But
you're gonna get. Think about the fashion. You're gonna wear like those big wellies.
I know.
It's gonna rain all the time. You're gonna be drinking pints with like cute guys in bars.
Picking up like a shift at the local pub and learning how to pour like a perfect Guinness.
100%.
Being that like American girl who pours a great Guinness.
Yeah, 100%. Like you'll be set for life.
Exactly.
I agree. I think you have the right strategy. Okay, so what is the greatest thing you learned? You have also been at Food 52 for many generations. What is your greatest takeaway from that experience?
That's a great question. I think when you work somewhere where a lot of the reason why people are there is because of passion, and you are lucky enough to work at a place that is driven by interest and like love and passion and not necessity, it can cause a lot of instability. Because you're moving with the way that people are feeling and thinking, and like it's very, you have to react to other people's feelings. But that like flicker never goes out, no matter like how crazy it can feel or how good it can feel. Like there's this like underlying hum of like, God, I'm so lucky that I still get to like worry about what kind of spaghetti we should be like.
Yeah, how we're shooting this thing.
Talking about, that like it just, you have to ground yourself in why you're here and how lucky you are and remind yourself why you're here, and it'll get you through a lot. And I think that's helped me outside of this job too. Like, you know, just appreciate where you are.
And what won't you miss?
What won't I miss? Probably trying to put too many processes around things that should just be creative.
Yeah.
You have to, but it's hard.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like I've spent a lot of time thinking about that, and I like haven't I feel like it's hard to like pinpoint the exact right way to do it. And it always bothered me. So I'm going to feel good about letting that go.
Yeah. Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
You had a tough job here too, because you were trying to make the trains run on time and run on budget and get the stuff done. And you were at the whim of a lot of creative opinion.
Yeah.
And a lot of opinion. So how did you not lose, which is tough, that requires real self-esteem and also a lot of resilience. How did you not lose your footing in that?
I think
and is it as easy as you made it look?
No. And I'm glad you think I made it look easy, because it definitely wasn't. But I think I learned that as personal as creative people are and creative decisions are, it's actually what they're saying to you is not personal. Like, you can't take it personally. And even though it feels so easy to, and I think once I understood that, like, you just have to hear people, and like a lot of it is actually just giving them space to speak and feel heard and understood. A lot of it is like, I hear you, I see you, I accept that. Let's put this in place for the next time. And usually they're like, okay. Like, it doesn't need to be redone. It doesn't need to be, sometimes it does. But like, I think in the beginning, I tended to respond defensively because I took it as a personal thing.
Yeah, like you had failed.
And they're like, why are you so upset about this? I'm like, I thought you were upset about this. They're like, I'm not upset. That's just my job. And so that when I realized that it's just like this is you needing the space to say what you need to say, I'll absorb it, give you that space, and we'll make it better the next time.
Yeah, that's
and
great
that,
advice.
I think, just caused things to just work a lot more seamlessly.
I think from last summer to now, you are so much more confident. Why do you think that is?
I think...
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think figuring out how to work more successfully with creative people helped me a lot. And again, removing all of that like personalness.
I think that's great advice. Very mature.
And I think because of that, we saw a lot of successful big shoots and like getting those under my belt. Like gift guides was so fun, and like the holidays went great, and like getting my footing there and learning that you can run the trains on time and they can look fabulous. That's all, then you feel good about
amazing.
what you do. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, what's your advice to someone who wants to make like a crazy life change, move continents, change jobs, change industries? What's your advice?
Okay. I have this
You're
one
ready
on
for
deck.
this. Great.
Yeah. You know the answer. Like, you know it. It's deep. You might have to like let yourself sit with it for a second, but like there's going to be a pinging in your stomach or in your brain that like, whether you are in 99.9% denial, that 0.1% is going to claw its way out, whether you like it or not. So if there is something clawing at you, that is what you need to do. Like, even if, I mean, again, like me, I love where I live. I love Brooklyn. I love Food 52. My parents are close by. I have great friends. There's no reason for me to leave the country, but this was clawing at me. And I was like, well, that's the answer.
I love that. All right, my last question, Kiernan, is are you going to sell me your Land's End navy blue sweater?
Because it's vintage, it's going to be a steep price. But if you're willing to meet me there.
Okay, well, you think about the price.
Okay, I'll think about the price.
I also feel slightly ashamed of myself even asking that, because it's a slightly perfect item for Cork, Ireland.
It is. It actually is.
It is. But if you made the price high enough, then you could get a new one.
So true. Maybe it can actually be from London.
Yes. So just think about that.
I'll chew on that.
Okay, you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll circle back.
Yeah, let's circle back. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
thank you for doing this. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm excited for you.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll free you up.
Okay.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Now work.
All right. So we're doing strategery. I'm eating my lunch, I'm just eating my lunch. That's what's happening today. Trying to eat more vegetables and improve my microbiome. All right. Best of breed is our word best of breed is our strategery word. So what is best of breed? I always say best in breed or best in class. Best of breed refers to a stock that represents the most optimal investment choice for a specific sector or industry due to its high quality compared to its competitor. So strategery, that's the people that say best in class, best of breed all day long in the office, and they're yapping about something that they know nothing about. I don't mind the strategery word that much. I think it's a euphemism. I don't know. Do you know? Let's look up euphemism. I think it's a colloquialism or a euphemism. I should know what those words mean for saying something is the best. Like, it's a great way to do things. It's a best in class. It is a recognized gold standard for how things are done. I do think it's probably annoying if you are a boss or a manager and you use this word incessantly and you use it to describe a company that your people are like, nah, they're not really the best at that. So best in breed is our strategery word. You can let me know if you disagree with me. And that's that.